Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paper Mario. I am, as ever and always, your host, the Lore Runner. Normally I'd say shoutouts and thank yous for this section, but this is one of the very last of the runs that was lost. We actually completely lost the thank you sheet. So I don't know who funded this run. I could probably reverse engineer that, but to be completely honest, I didn't really have the time. So thank you, whoever you were, for funding these games. Moving on. I hate to be so flippant, but I was actually really pissed to lose all that data. That was that's pretty much an entire spreadsheet just gone. But anyways, that's all gone. Whatever. Once upon a time, Nintendo and Squaresoft got together and they decided to do this brand new thing. They were going to go ahead and they were going to make a Mario RPG. They called it Super Mario RPG because branding is hard. And both teams put most of their A game into it. By all accounts, a lot of the, shall we say, excess ideas that they didn't really have anywhere else to put from both Square and Nintendo ended up in SMRPG. The result was a beloved classic, which a lot of people still venerate as one of the greatest RPGs of all time to this very day. I've actually already reviewed it. It was so good that a sequel was greenlit essentially immediately. So immediately that they were already working on prototypes and code and movement tech and all kinds of stuff for the sequel, Super Mario RPG 2, for their brand new system, the N64, which they're very much looking forward to. This is when we have to acknowledge that there's a bit of a he said, she said kind of a thing going on with regards to what happened between Square and Nintendo at this time. What we do know with total certainty is that Nintendo and Square didn't really get along with each other super well at this point, and just essentially stopped collaborating. Not for very long, to be completely honest with you. Square would come right back in the GBA era, so it's not like there was a really big gap there. But either way, there was this period of time where the two companies were just hands off of each other. Some people say it's because Nintendo pissed them off by defending the cartridges. Some people say it was Square being too snooty about wanting large FMVs in their games. Some people say it was just both companies are going different directions. I actually do have a pet theory on this, but unfortunately it involves going into politics. Corporate politics, of course. And nobody actually wants to do that. So all I'm going to say is, for whatever reason, Nintendo was like, well, now what? We've already started production of this game. The game's already greenlit. And if you know anything about game design, you know that you can't just you can, but generally speaking, when you've already started production on a game, it's not considered good design to just go ahead and then cancel the whole production line. So since all the assets were already there, and since all of the resources were already there, and since much of the code for interacting and jumping and hammering and the 2D flip mechanic, all of that other stuff was already there, they decided, screw it. We'll do our own Mario RPG with blackjack and hookers. And that, of course, turns into Paper Mario. Most of this story, as weird as this probably sounds, doesn't have much to do with Paper Mario. Quite the contrary, this story has a lot to do with Paper Mario 2. So I want you to do me a favor and remember this story for when we get there. But in the interim, this game was made. I don't even know how to answer that, Trihexia. Film, like they make... Okay, that's... you've asked me such a weird question, Trihexia. Film production involves making props and costumes and makeup and all kinds of stuff like that, right? Sets, set design, location, all that kind of stuff. But all that work that you're doing doesn't really count until someone takes a camera and films actors in front of a set or a green screen or an area. Until they actually start filming, nothing really counts, really, when it comes to filmmaking. In game design, it doesn't work that way. In game design, those assets and resources and all those other fun things that they're designing on the way, those all are stuff that's already made. To put it differently, imagine if making a film, you made the person who's in the film. and then you made the person's ability to animate, and then you made the backdrop for the person, and then you made the jumping mechanic for the person, and then you made the music for the scene, and then you made an interactable which displays the text for the specific screen. And like, imagine if you construct the scene piecemeal like that. It's much harder to just drop something into mid-development like that as opposed to films. And there's also the tax deduction thing, but we're not going to go into that. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Star Spirits and Good Wishes. There's a good times I need to interrupt and mention that this game has a lot of bare bones of SMRPG's overall story baked into it. This makes perfect sense given what I just said. What they effectively did was they created an overall very, very zoomed out scenario for what they wanted to do based on Super Mario RPG, just on the N64 and with a few additional gimmicks. The expectation was that the story people, that'd be Square, would show up and then fill out the gaps. That never happened. So the framework of this game, as many people have pointed out, is almost identical to SMRPGs. However, it goes in a very different direction because this was not written by Square. It was written by Intelligent Systems, who you may or may not know as the people who made Advance Wars and, of course, Fire Emblem. Far, far away, beyond the sky, way above the clouds, it's been said there's a haven where the stars live. In the sanctuary of Star Haven, there rests a fabled treasure called the Star Rod, which has the power to grant all wishes. Using this wondrous Star Rod, the 7 revered star spirits watched over our peaceful world. Carefully, very carefully. And then, oh dear, what the? Who stuck that weird thing into this story? Yeah, I did! So I can, at long last, beat my archenemy Mario. I'll take this Star Rod. Do it, Cammy! No, you mustn't do that! Yeah, now let's try using it. Oh, sorry. We did it. That was a piece of cake. Now Star Kids may rise to the haven delivers people's wishes, but those wishes will not come to true. Whatever can they do? 2001. Okay, so we actually have a few things to talk about immediately. First, I want to answer Savicom's question. Why paper? Good question. The N64 is probably, I would say, one of the 3 most unique consoles to develop for that have ever existed, alongside the Saturn and the original NES. The N64, oh god, there's no way I could explain it with proper in-depth without actually having notes and backtracking and stuff. So please trust me for a second when I say the N64 has very unique architecture. And so as a consequence, a lot of the games that are really good on it, like Ocarina, or Mario 64, or Mario Kart 64, or Smash Brothers, or this game, every single one of these is designed very, very uniquely to work with it. And, well, it's actually one of several reasons why the N64 just didn't move units quite at the same level as, units is the wrong word. It didn't quite move the meter as much as certain other things at the time did. Cough, cough, PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 was a little bit of a different animal for developing for, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So, the reason for the paper aesthetic is actually extremely simple. It's to limit the necessary render time going on in terms of 3D objects. Obviously, the N64 can render 3D meshes. We've seen that ever since the very first game, Mario 64, but by putting it as just one of those 2D picture things, it drastically lowers what is required of the system and increases how many different things can be on the screen at a given time. You may or may not have even noticed, but even in that cutscene we just saw, there was a surprisingly high density of objects on screen for an N64 game. If you didn't notice that, maybe I can demonstrate. Hang on just a second. Give me one moment. Let's see what other N64 games we have. If there's anything that pops out at me as something that I could really show that off on. Probably not. Yeah. Hang on. Okay, so look how many moving objects are on the screen right now. I'll give you a hint. There's 1. Now there's 2. Now we're back down to 1. And you see what's happening, right? Like, okay, being very technical, there's actually 4 things active on the screen. But you see what I mean, right? That's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Very, very, very few actual interactable objects interacting with each other across the course of the game. If you want to count the camera, then we're up to a grand total of 5, Lord Aramont. You're also wrong, because you're pulling it technically. By contrast, unfortunately, I don't think I could fast forward. I should have made a suspend at the right time. By contrast, there's a lot more stuff moving here, and that's the main reason they did that. Now, the other thing I wanted to comment on very, very briefly is there's actually a surprising amount of detail in that intro, too. Specific characters we'll be meeting later. Introduction to Cammy, several of the stars. It's been argued that we actually see Twink in that very intro. Stuff like that. Yes, it is Lord Hermon. In fact, actually, moving the camera has nothing to do with the objects on screen. Indirectly. Indirectly it does, but that's unrelated. If you want to count the camera, which it super doesn't count. So let's actually count here. Right now, how many objects are on the screen? If we're pulling an absolute technically, which we just did with GoldenEye, we're up to 2. The picture and the overlay, and that's it. Still just a picture. It's just a static picture. Nothing fancy about it. It's just something. It's a pre-drawn JPEG, which someone threw up there, right? But then Bowser shows up, so up to 3 now. He's going to go away in a second, so we're going to go back to 2. There's also this wonderful transitionary period where this goes from being a show to actually being the events in question. You notice here, we're no longer in the thing. Now we're actually in the area. The water's moving. We have all 5 stars, plus Bowser, plus Cammy, plus the star, plus the shards from the star. Every single one of those is a separate object which is now being rendered simultaneously. And then we got the special effect from that. And you see what I'm saying, right? There's a lot more density to how many active objects, how many actors are moving on the screen at a given point in time. And yeah, it is a full 3-dimensional stage moving too. So we can have 3-dimensional stages with 2D aesthetic. This sounds familiar, I'm sure, because a lot of games do exactly the same thing, even back then. It's actually usually a stylistic choice nowadays, but back then this was a technical choice. And you notice we haven't gone back to the storybook presentation, because now we've left the realm of the storybook and we are now in the story. Notice they never even call attention to that. Everyone says it's all, like it's, the breaking the fourth wall or whatever, which is arguably true, but it's actually designed to be a transitionary thing. Very, very, very few fictions do this, but you get the idea. It's the idea of someone opens a book, and we see them reading the book out loud, and then it like transitions into the events in the book. That's kind of the equivalent of what just happened. We are no longer reading a book or watching a play or whatever. We are not actually a part of the story, which is being changed dynamically around us because it has become the story itself. Make sense? In other words, it's not a framing device. It's more like an establishing device. Framing devices are used all the time. Establishing devices are extremely rare, in my experience. Anyway, sorry for going way down. We're like 10 seconds into this stupid game. I just wanted to comment on all of this because, as is so common with this particular era of development, especially when it comes to the big two, which is Nintendo and Sony, a lot of this stuff was being done for very pragmatic reasons, which resulted in some really good stuff. So we have a very solid intro. We're going to go ahead and jot down aesthetic. Is an impressive period? Good question. I think it is, but I'm an idiot who's worthless and stupid. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play Yume Nikki again, just to suffer. Just like, no, okay, so. This is definitely going to be some question marks here. For sprite work and brickwork, I do like the intro rather solidly. There is, if I'm not mistaken, a title demo which will play. Usually these are the realm of gameplay, but we'll go ahead and watch it and see what happens. Okay, so basic interaction on the overworld, basic interaction on combat. This is one of the major mechanics of the games, which is you can use your party member to accomplish things in the overworld. So we use Parakarry to fly over, and we use Bombette to explode. This is a tutorial. This is showcasing some of the stuff that you can do in the course of the game, while kind of disguising it as sort of an anime opening kind of a thing. Yeah, the attract modes, these just went away at some point in time. I'm not sure when. Notice even the button prompt is there to kind of showcase what's actually happening here. We even got stores. It's almost like it's a real RPG. As I say, GameCube and PS2 era is probably when attract mode started being on the way out. Yes, Paper Mario 2 is the one that most people call Paper Mario TTYD, or the 1,000-Year Door. All of which sounds terrible, so I've been calling it Paper Mario 2 for the last 20 years. That's not changing, I'm sorry. Also, that was a showcasing a little bit of a secret. Item usage. Like, this isn't even a God of War 4 situation, or a Doom 5 situation. There's only one Paper Mario 2. There's no debate or asterisks or question marks about what Paper Mario 2 is. It's Paper Mario 2. The fact that it happens to be called the 1,000-Year Door doesn't change the fact that it is Paper Mario 2. There's Peach. Oh yeah, this game also gave us the very concept of the phrase Princess Peach section, so that should be fun. And we're looped. I'd say that's a decent attract mode. Not the level of Super Metroid, but still good. I should also mention this game is almost completely console locked. It's on the N64 and the Switch, which is where I'm playing it, and that's it. It was on the Wii U, I think. It's not anymore. Anyways. Mail call. Fun fact, I almost did a theater of Paper Mario 1 as the prototype theater instead of Paper Mario 2. The only reason I didn't is Paper Mario 2 is just so much better of a game that it felt like the better option to go with. Hey, hey Mario, I've got a letter from Princess Peach. I'll read it to you, okay? Alright, let's see. I'm throwing a party at my castle today. Mario and Luigi, I would be honored if you could both attend. Many guests from distant towns are hoping to meet you. There will be tasty sweets and all kinds of entertainment. I hope to see you here soon. Sincerely, Peach. Fun fact, that's actually what the letter says. It's hard to read because it's super blurry, but that is actually the text. The stylized writing. So, this is non-interactable. As you can see, my hands are off the controls. This is a little bit of an interesting idea. This is a pseudo-tour of the main hub, Toad Town. It's the only real town in the game. There's a few other towns, but this is your city, right? just kind of showing off some of the areas and how they connect with each other so you can get an idea of how to navigate later. And of course, there's Princess Peach's castle. Notice it doesn't take that long because, in fact, it's already over. As usual, you know me, I love brevity, and I love when a game can bother to convey a lot of information in a very short period of time.
Oh, what a magnificent castle. I never get used to this place. It looks like lots of guests are already here.
Now let's kill them all! Alright, you're looking well. Please enjoy the party, okay? Oh yeah. So, let's discuss a couple of things here. Obviously, we're going to debate sprite work and brickwork. I imagine this is a game that will have better sprite work than brickwork. In addition to the obvious fact that the brickwork is very basic, because this is an N64 game, fact of the matter is, the sprite work has much more detail put to it. These are, in just about every way, SNES sprites. They happen to be pasted onto a two-dimensional object in a three-dimensional game, but otherwise, they have the level of animation, detailing. I mean, just look at that toad that's talking to Luigi right there. There's a lot of conveyance in how they move and how they discuss and blah, 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 blah. So, probably going to be higher sprite work than brickwork. God, I had something else to say, too. Yeah, you mentioned the emulator. So, fun fact, there is no good way to stream this game unless you just hook up your own N64. But even that's not a great way to do it for its own reasons, because the N64s are notoriously problematic. The reason I mention that, for years and years and years, the biggest, let's call it, goalpost for N64 emulation was being able to emulate this game. That's not actually a joke. I was following the N64 emulation scene for, God, like almost a decade, as they slowly hammered out the ability to run games like Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time or, whatever. But getting this game runnable was always problematic. Once again, I should mention Paper Mario was done relatively far into the N64's history and really pushes what the N64 can do, which is part of why so many emulators have so many issues with it. We may encounter some this time because we are running an emulator. We're just running one that, is official. Now, that's as good a time as any to mention something. So this is kind of an interesting asterisk. Are we reviewing Paper Mario, or are we reviewing the Nintendo Switch Online version of Paper Mario? I know that sounds like a strange distinction, but let me explain a little bit, because we have some precedence on this matter. When we were reviewing Mega Man 1, we were specifically reviewing the Mega Man 1 from the Mega Man Collection Mega Man 1, which means all of the extra bonus stuff from the collection counted. For the case, because it's true, right? If you go buy the collection on the PlayStation or the Switch or the PC or whatever, that extra stuff is there. The rewind feature, the challenge mode stuff, the save state stuff, the extra museum stuff, the ability to get rid of the flicker, all of that's there because that's the version of the game you've played, right? That's the version of the game you have procured. The catch here is I didn't buy, like there's no purchasing Paper Mario, if that makes any sense. There's no going out and buying the Nintendo Switch Online version of Paper Mario. There's subscribing to the service, which happens to give me access to this. So this isn't quite the same situation as with the Mega Man stuff, or any other collection things that have those little kind of quality of life features. The Halo collection is another example of something we did with this. So this is a little bit more asterisky, and yeah, who knows how available this will be in the future. In this exact case, my knee-jerk reaction is to not cover the emulator features because they're not really a part of the game we're reviewing, and they're not part of the game we have procured. And who knows how long this particular version of the game will even be accessible going down the line. That's my take on it, but I'm not like 100% adherent to that. It will change the review, but only slightly. I'll tell you right now, because these things exist. Save states. This is the primary variance that reviewing the Switch version will change, is we have the access to save states. And I think that's actually it. I think that's the only major thing, other than any emulator glitches we have. So Emulator glitches would be valid for negatives, and save states would be valid for positives. That's the variance. I can't even pull up the menu yet. So, before we go any further, I know you're sick of hearing me talk, and I do apologize. Please forgive me. There's a lot of toads here. Notice the toads also have different appearances to them. In addition to just being different colors, they literally look differently. Looking at you, Sticker Star! Anyways, God. Yeah, back when toads could actually have variations. Like hair and outfits and glasses and uniforms. Did you know that was an actual mandate for a while? A literal mandate at Nintendo HQ. To my knowledge, that mandate is actually gone now, but I'm getting off topic. Intro. One of the things we talked about when it came to to Twilight Princess was that a lot of people don't like the intros, of which there's technically 3, to Twilight Princess. And I do. But it was still something that we discussed, if you remember. It was a whole talking point. Because there are 3 distinct intros and they take a while to go through, especially if you're playing for the first time, or if you're playing on repeat. Paper Mario is often criticized for its intros because it actually takes a hot minute before we actually get out of the intro. I'll even point it out when we get there. Spoilers, it's going to be a little bit, but what I want you all to be doing for me is paying attention and deciding, is this too long, is this too arduous, is this negative territory, regardless of everything else. Okay, so, sorry for the delay, let's talk to people. Hey, Mario. Oh, I hope you brought an appetite. There's so much good food here. I already ate way too much. I'm taking a little breather. Well, that's enough of a rest. I'm hungry again. Let's eat to the buffet table. Princess Peach is such a generous and wonderful lady, just as I was told. It was worth coming to visit. Mario, please come visit us in the Shiver region someday. So yes, that's one of the Shiver Toads. Salutations, Mario. Do you know Frost T here? He's come all the way from the Shiver region, which lies far north of here. Oh yeah, get used to the puns, for there are many. Oh, hello there, Mario. I'm Taste Tea. I really love to cook. You may not know this, but I cooked all the food for this big party. I made all of my most delicious dishes. But, oh dear, I got so into my cooking I used up all my ingredients. I have to go shopping. Lady, I see cream and strawberries, eggs. One of these is sugar. I'm pretty sure that's flour. One of these is butter. And one of these is bleach. Anyways, I've been practicing cooking. I hope someday I get good enough to cook food as delicious as Tasty's. You know how to cook? You really ought to learn. Personally, I think cooking is exceptionally fun. I agree. It's also incredibly useful. We'll get to that. I don't remember, actually, James Liz. Oh yeah, I should mention I've been part of the speedrunning community of this game for a while. I've never actually put out a run, but there's this little tech where you do this thing, and it's by far the fastest thing you can do until you get the long spin dash. I will try not to do that as much as possible. I think Princess Peach has been looking forward to seeing you since this morning, Mario. She's been restless. How cute. Not gonna make a joke. Not gonna make a joke. Oh, welcome, Mario. The last party was lovely, wasn't it? Oh, by the way, Princess Peach has been waiting for you. If you know what I mean. Sorry. This game just does it. I mean, look at it. It's all colorful and bright and awful, Archean Vale. I wish I just had this terrible game to play instead. Ugh, I spit upon it, Patooey. Where's the pathos? Where's the celebrate? Ugh, excuse me. Aw, well thank you very, very much, Walker. Sorry. I just had a random thought of Mario running away from eyeballs, and then remembered that giant eyes are actually a semi-common enemy in Mario games. It's okay, they're not gross, because this is Mario we're talking about here. Okay, the Echoes, Kingdom. That's the same stuff you did earlier, isn't it? F7 Chain Echoes. It is! Trying to lie to me, Walker. I see how it is. Do it. Do it, Eternus. I'm ready. I'm ready for the negativity. No, I saw your post, Archeonville. I was doing the paperwork. Wow, this castle's absolutely breathtaking, don't you think? I wish I could stay here at Peach's castle forever. And who the heck is this guy? Don't worry, we'll meet him later. Princess Peach went into her private chambers just now. She must be a bit tired. Greetings, Mario. I am Minister of Princess Peach's castle. It's good to see you here. When you're around, I feel like our kingdom is secure. Yep, our future looks bright. So, super quick, I just want you to glance across this. We've already met 2 people from the Shiver region. We've got 2 people from the Desert region, which I forget what it's actually called off the top of my head. And I think one of these other toads is from somewhere else. We've also got a representative from the Koopa area. Now, this is a really minor thing to point out. But there is a Koopa Troopa in Princess Peach's castle chatting at one of Princess Peach's parties. It's a very minor thing, but it's presented as so normal and mundane to get across a point. They're trying to emphasize just how ordinary that is for them to be NPCs, right? For them to be just other people rather than the enemy. Now, that's a common thing in the RPGs, but you can see why it needs to be emphasized here. Especially since, if you remember, Super Mario RPG did not do that. So this was actually the first time they approached the idea of Goombas and Koopas and all the other enemies being people rather than being enemies. I came from a desert town called Dry Outpost. This castle is really lovely, isn't it? Truly gorgeous. So cool and comfortable. I even got the chance to talk to the beautiful Princess Peach. What an honor. When I return to Dry Outpost, I'm going to tell everyone about it. I'm Nomada Mouse. I come from Dry Desert. Everyone I've met in this town seems incredibly nice. I think I'll make this place my home away from home. Also, they have cake! They have cake! Does Princess Peach have a special man in her life? She's such a lovely lady. Whoever she loves must be very special indeed. Wink! Wink! Stay safe, Eternus. It is tonight, right? It's midnight or something like that. Today we have guests from Dry Outpost, Shiver Region, Goomba Village. So many folks here, I can't keep track of them all. Where might you be from? Oh, you're Mario? Sorry, excuse me. Bye. Do you know of a place called Shooting Star Summit? It's near this castle. It's such a romantic place. Oh, it's definitely the best place for a date. Trust me. Maybe you ought to, ask the princess to go there. Oh my god, stop shipping us! Okay, real talk, the RPGs make it a lot more clear that Mario and Peach are actually a couple. I find this funny, because if you remember, the core Nintendo staff have had this rule for a really long time that they can't actually codify relationships. You'll notice that Mario and Peach are not a couple in any of the main Mario games, just like the Zeldas and the Links are not a couple in any of the main Zeldas. One of the only ones that really bypassed that was Spirit Tracks, and arguably Phantom Hourglass and Wind Waker, but mostly Spirit Tracks, right? So, like, this is a Gaiden game for all intents and purposes, being done by another studio. Carte blanche, right? Does that work for me, yes or no? I'm going to be honest, I don't give a damn. But, yeah, Skyward Sword was such a weird exception to that. Because that was core Zelda team, and then they just walked back from that hard. Anyways. I'm sorry, we all know Mario's #1 love gal, and that's Pauline. I'm just saying. Lady's a mayor, okay? She knows what she's doing. Hello, Mario. I'm always on the cutting edge of fashion. I must say, your outfit is just fabulous. It really suits you. I mean, Pauline is Mario's one-up girl. And then, of course, there's Luigi, who, as we all know, is with Daisy. Aw, that sucks, Archeongo. But I will not keep you here. I understand that it's that horrible talking to me. I just lost a viewer because of a stream I did. I wish I could say that's the first time that's happened. But I am not a good liar. Congrats, Walker. I'm here on behalf of the lovely Shiver City. I'm the mayor there, you know. Why, goodness, look at the time. I have to go shopping for souvenirs with Frost tea.
I come from Goomba Village, which is just down the road from here. Oh, I just had the honor of talking with Princess Peach. What a wonderful lady she is.
This is Princess Peach's room, but I'm afraid she isn't in here at the moment. Yeah. Oh, yep, nope, not. Don't do it, Lore. Don't do it.
I'm just a trainee, sir. So many guests. My heart's been beating like a bass drum ever since this morning.
It's nice and quiet here with no guests around. Ah, it's so pleasant. I mean, in fairness, I lose viewers all the time. It's always weird going back to, like, some of my old VODs to check something. And I see things like, you know, names that I haven't heard or seen on screen in literal years. And there's always just something weird about that. I like Mario 2's Princess Peach sprite better, but anyways. Oh, Mario, you came to the party just to see me. You're so sweet. So, I've got like 5 minutes. Do you want to go back into the closet? Sorry. I was just resting a bit. It gets tiring greeting all those guests out there. Nobody will bother us here. Should we relax and chat? Just the two of us? It was a lovely day today, so I'm sure it's comfortable on the balcony right now. Would you accompany me, Mario? But then the plot starts. So, I've heard of all kinds of ways of trying to take over a castle. I've never seen this particular approach. You alright, Mario? What in the world was that? Oh my, look! It's still daytime, isn't it? But I can see the stars outside. Long time no see, Princess Peach. Bowser, but this can't be. It was you who made the ground shake just now, wasn't it? Whatever did you do? Yeah, that was me. I've lifted your castle up into the sky. It's sitting on my castle now. Weren't expecting that, huh? Oh, this castle's under my control now, my dear. And now you will obey me. Huh? What? It's Mario. What a shock. Not really. I expected you to turn up right on cue. You're just as annoying as ever. Fortunately for you, there's nothing you can do this time. Haven't you learned your lesson by now, Bowser? You can never defeat Mario. Why don't you give up already? True. I have had my problems in the past, but this time's different. This time, I'm gonna win! Okay, tough guy. Let's go. So this is our first combat. This is a terrible tutorial. This is actually one of the only bad things about the intro. This is a limited tutorial. All you can do is the basic jump, and there's no inputs you can even do, even if you know about inputs. Yeah, it's not a tutorial. It's actually a cutscene. There's nothing happening here. I think this is one of the bigger missteps of the entire game, honestly. This could easily have been a proper supposed-to-lose fight, where you could have won if you knew what you were doing. And then he, pulls out his... Anyways, good old Mario, always fighting. You're a thorn in my side. But today, your pathetic little attacks won't beat me. Take a look at this, Lunaruth. This is what I stole from the Star Haven. The Star Rod. This fine piece of work has the power to grant any wish in the whole wide world. Why are you watching me, Lunaruth? And when I use the Star Rod to increase my strength, not even you can beat me, Mario. How do you like that, Mario? Is that all you've got? How sad. You'd best take some vitamins, because that didn't hurt at all. Which means I am still triggering. Happy birthday, Lunaruth. Yep, just as I expected. Mario's no match for the new me. It's not even worth my time to toy with you anymore, Mario. It's time to end this. Good night! Thunk. So Mario's dead. Mario, get up! Oh, yeah! Yeah, I did it! Oh, I finally did it! Oh, I beat my old rival Mario! Yes!
Congratulations on your victory, your viciousness. That's why you're the king.
As long as I have the Star Rod, everything I wish will come true. No one can stop me now. Well, well, well. I guess I might as well get rid of Mario. He's no good to anyone now, that's for sure. Whee! So we're dead. So one of the things I like about this, obviously Bowser is fantastic. Duh. Got him down for a question mark here. But what I like about this is Bowser's not evil. I've always been one of those weird people who really enjoys the fact that Bowser isn't evil, even when he is the central antagonist of a given game. He obtains what is effectively unlimited and infinite power, and the first thing he does is he, does the metaphorical equivalent of going and getting a really nice sandwich. There's something weirdly relatable about that, isn't that? And yes, this happens if you sit here for a minute. You know what I mean? Imagine you get the power of the Q. Yes, yes! And then you decide to make the greatest slice of pizza you've ever seen! And then you eat it, it's like, oh, this is so good. It's so banal. He just wanted to take the castle, take Peach, and beat Mario. And then he did all that immediately. And he's like, yes. And, the rest of the game is going to be following through on the now what from that. This could have flopped pretty hard, but instead it feels like he's just like, alright. Well, cool. And we'll talk about this as we go through it. This general characterization carries forward into the more modern Marios as well, where characters are actually allowed to have character, because both Mario Odyssey and Mario Wonder have a similar take on the character. In Odyssey's case, he was doing the big wedding thing, and in Wonder, he was wanting to set off the global tour of his big rock concert, or excuse me, metal concert, right? I actually haven't played Origami King yet. It's the only one I haven't played. I own it. So there's our star spirits from earlier. Notice how every single one of them is unique and distinct, ignoring the obvious fact that they have different outfits, different colorization, or sorry, I don't know why I gave that away. Sorry, different outfits, different accessories. Every single one of them is actually a slightly different shade. I just want to comment on the fact that there's really good sprite work in this game. I hate to hammer that point in, because it's not like this game or the next one are lacking in that regard. But someday we're going to review Sticker Star, and I want you somewhere in the back of your mind to just lodge the excellent sprite work you're seeing in this game and the next one for when we get to Sticker Star. Because that game does not have good sprite work. Oh, thank heavens, he's been gravely injured, but I think he'll recover. This is a good time as I need to mention a positive we've given several times before. It's called Storytelling Mechanic. Text rendering. So here's the thing. There's this concept, it's called text rendering, and back in the day, you didn't really have voice acting. Oh, you could. Voice acting in games actually goes back a lot further than people think it does, but actually having true, full, Sticker Starlit Earth, having true, full voice acting in a game, that wasn't feasible, right? You had to compress it to ridiculous levels, and there wasn't even really an industry in place, actors in place who had the talent and the skill and the money in order to be able to go and do that. Yeah, Ghostbusters on the NES. Oh my god. So, what several games would do, starting in, I believe, 1994 with Earthbound, correct me if I'm wrong on the date there, is they would start to use unique aspects of how the text is rendered. For those of you not aware, text rendering is a whole separate sub-program in most of these games. Sorry, one second, let me kill the audio there. There's usually a completely sub-program, not a script, an entire program that's running underneath the main game, and that just decides how the text is rendered. Now, this is done in good games. To explain what I mean by that a little bit, let's say I've got a block, a place where the text could be right here, right? Now, what a lot of games would do is they would just manually place the text on these blocks, and then when they translate it out of Japanese, they wouldn't reposition things. So you'd have text sticking out over the edge, or you'd have text that only goes up to like just a tiny inch, and then you've got this giant empty bar, because they didn't think about it. So that problem was solved in the early 90s when they came up with this idea of text rendering, so that there's a program that says render up until here, and if it interrupts the word, move the word down here and continue rendering. And thus the game itself kind of naturally adjusts the text, formats the text is actually the word I want to go for. It formats the text on the fly. You wouldn't really see this, but if you were somehow able to magically take Earthbound and rewrite all the text in it, it would still render just fine because of that program. Make sense? But then Earthbound said, hang on, and actually came up with this other idea to actually do other little tidbits with the text to try and imply things like tone. Now, Earthbound did not invent that. The earliest game I know that did that was Final Fantasy IV, because Final Fantasy IV is kind of the granddaddy of a lot of things. But in FF4, it was fairly basic. FF4 on the SNES had 3 basic styles of text rendering. There was just the normal text, which you could mash through rapid fire. There was the stuff where it would pause and wait for an input. And then there's the stuff where it would stall for a second, and nothing you could do could prevent it. Could push it forwards. In other words, to try and add beats to a conversation. It was very basic, but it was one of the first examples of this concept I've ever seen. Earthbound and Paper Mario and other games of this type would start doing this thing where, like, the text will wobble to indicate that you're not feeling well, or it'll shake, or it'll get really big all of a sudden, or what's on the screen right now, you've got that little flickering effect in it to indicate that they're, like, ephemeral and they're not actually speaking or whatever. And all of these little things add to voice. This is the voice acting before voice acting. This is something that the really good games, especially RPGs, did before they could get someone in front of a mic and say, oh, thank heavens. Because, like, this would be Linnea Ruth right here. She'd be voicing, I can't remember her name. The one on the left. She's been gravely injured, but I think he'll recover. Can't do that. So instead, we have this thing conveying it. Stuff like that. No, it's not committed. Committed to? That's the wrong word. Committed? Confirmed. It's not confirmed yet. Anything's are. Look, his rump is just, it's so good, BM3X. Bowser has the Star Rod. Now he's mightier than Mario. It's hopeless. All is lost. Everybody just calm down. As long as we keep it together, there's always hope. Now, our fates are in Mario's hands. We must try to revive him. Gather round, everyone. Send Mario your power. That's it. That's all we can do right now. Mario, please get up. Please. No. Sounds like a good one, though, Walker. So, once again, on the off chance... Oh, that is more likely, Ezra. On the off chance that you didn't catch the Koopa earlier, because all that stuff was optional, the person who comes to rescue is a freaking Goomba. This is the first enemy that has ever been seen in a Super Mario game. Ever. So I love the idea of them just shoving this right up front here and getting across, once again, the idea that these are just people, not enemies. Oh, who could that be? Red shirt, hat, mustache. You know, this really looks like the one and only Mario. It could be. Could it? The real Mario? Hey, wake up! Come on! Up and at him! Oh no, he won't wake up. What am I gonna do? Dad, Goompa, Goombario! Meanwhile... Oh, never mind. In the future... Mario. Can you hear me, Mario? I am Eldstar, a star spirit. I have something very important to tell you. It concerns the princess and all the Mushroom Kingdom. But sadly, I haven't the strength to talk to you here. Mario, I need you to come to Shooting Star Summit. Please, Mario. The star spirits were waiting for you at the summit. That looks like such an uncomfortable bed. Oh, Mario. I'm so happy to see you awake. You haven't opened your eyes for days and days. Everyone's been worried sick. This place? This is Goomba Village. It's a tiny village that's just west of Toad Town. By the way, did you notice that? Once again, this is one of those really minor things that I bet most of you don't even consciously process. But there's a pause there. This is Goomba Village. Pause. It's a tiny village that's just west of Toad Town. Just, you see what I mean when I say the voice when it comes to text rendering. Again, Paper Mario didn't invent this, but it's used to really good effect in this game. The only residents are me and a single family of Goombas. The Goombas in the family are just the nicest folk you'll ever meet. They're the ones who found you unconscious in the forest and carried you here to get you better. Huh? Star with a mustache? You're saying a star told you to go to Shooting Star Summit? You just saw it happen again, by the way. No, I saw nothing like that. I sure didn't see anyone come in or out of the house. I wonder, maybe you just had a dream. And there's a sound effect you've heard on every YouTuber ever in the last 5 years. Although, maybe not. It could have been some sort of message from a star spirit. They live in Star Haven. Shooting Star Summit, say that 5 times fast, is the nearest place to Star Heaven, so it would make sense. And by heaven, I mean haven. Who knows? In any case, I'm glad to see you recovered. I know the Goombas would be happy if you paid them a visit. Oh, land's sakes, Mario. It's nice to meet you. My, so glad you woke up. I can't tell you how worried I was when you were just lying there asleep for so long. Right. Howdy, Mario. Feeling better? Feel free to rest in our house. You what? You have to leave right now? Well, Shooting Star Summit. Well, something important, no doubt. Well, I believe the summit is near Toad Town. You'll have to wait a bit. I have to fix this gate before we can head out to the east. That earthquake the other day really did a job on it. Do you feel that quake? Shoot! Thought the sky was falling. Just relax, don't worry. I'll have this fixed in a jiffy. Mario, you look better. I'm so glad. I was really worried about you. Because you were lying there in the forest and you didn't open your eyes the whole time. You know.
Hey, Mario. I'm Goombario. I'm your biggest fan. You don't know what this means for me to meet you. Seriously. I know all about your adventures around the world. You've been everywhere. Yeah, and you always get the best of the bad guys. Every time. You're the coolest. I want to be just like you.
Oh, Mario, hello, dearie. You may call me Goomba. I'm a Goomba grandmother, so that's where I got the name. Ho, 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 ho. Have you already met my lovely grandchildren? Aren't they sweet? Especially little Goombaria. Why, she looks just like I did when I was young. Ho, 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 ho. I think she's evil. He stole it, man. Yes, Mario, isn't it? You've awakened at last. Good! Knew you'd pull through. Call me Goompa. I'm the Goomba grandfather, so Goompa. Sorry, but would you mind giving me the details later? I'm pretty busy fixing the veranda. Of course. Oh, Mario. Dad was looking for you. He said to tell you that he finished fixing the gate. So I guess now you can travel east to Toad Town and Shooting Star Summit, huh? Yep. First, let's save. Quick and easy. I wanted to go with you too, you know, but Daddy told me it was too dangerous, so I have to stay here instead. Oof. Oh, what a job. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Gate's finally fixed. If you take this road straight ahead, you'll eventually reach Toad Town, home of Princess Peach's castle. I believe that Shooting Star Summit is just beyond there. Too bad you can't stay. I feel like I just met you, but duty calls, I know. Come back and visit if you can. Best of luck, Mario.
Where's my beetle stuff? I mean, hi. My instincts were right. Mario, I can't believe you're on your feet after such a beating from King Bowser. You're a hardy one, all right. I was smart to come here to check on you.
What? What's that, Daddy? What's that weird flying thing?
Weird? You rude little... I am a beautiful Koopa with a beautiful name. A Kami Koopa! Humph. Wish I had time to teach you a lesson, brat. But no. Mario, hear this. It is useless for you to try and save Princess Peach. Ridiculous! Laughable! As you have seen, King Bowser is more powerful than even you can deal with this time. Here's a gift from him. Yeah, I don't know why I'm laughing again. You will kneel and weep when you see the wonderful changes King Bowser's made. Your world is ours now. Toodaloo.
There's another text rendering thing. Just fixed that gate. Nobody say gate to me. Kami Koopa, the fiend. Hear what she said about the princess? Didn't sound good. Hope nothing's happened to her. What? Bowser went and kidnapped Princess Peach? Again? Unbelievable. And they have to go to Shooting Star Summit to help her, right? This could be a problem. Dad, we just gotta do something, right? Mario's gotta save the princess. Nobody else can do it. Oh! Here's an idea. Maybe we could break this block with Goompa's big hammer. I think he's using it now to fix the veranda. Go ask him for it, will you? This game is a direct sequel, more like an indirect sequel, to Super Mario RPG. I actually talked about the greater lore and continuity of the series. None of the Mario... Let me walk that sentence back. Only a few of the Mario RPGs tie into each other rather directly. Most of them indirectly tie into each other. Then they got weird. Then they got weirder. And then they just went off and started doing their own thing. Then one of the companies died, and then they made a new Mario & Luigi, which hasn't come out yet, and we have no idea who even made it yet. The original idea was the Mario RPGs were always intended to be part of one line, then they branched into two. The Mario and Luigi series, which was on the handhelds, and then the Paper Mario series, which was on the centrals. The Paper Mario series also died off because... well, we'll get to that when we get to Paper Mario 2. And, well, here we are. There we go. Alright, let's go find Goomba. Found him. Oh, my back. Huh? Who's that? Is that you, Mario? I remember a great crashing noise, and then the veranda collapsed and I fell. Did you fall too? Just stepped out the door into thin air, did you? Well, we're both okay. Problem is, we can't get home because that block's in the way. This block shouldn't be here. Well, it's a problem for us. Huh? Hammer? Oh, of course! Where'd it go? I was using it to fix the veranda, so it's likely around here somewhere. Nowhere to be seen. Guess it must have fallen somewhere over there. We better go look for it. We're still not out of the intro, by the way. Hammer's got to be somewhere close by. It looks like this. Here's the tutorial on how to interact with stuff and to eat vegan pizza. Oh, I'll wager you can use it. Tutorial. Yep, it's a pizza. Yeah, I know where it was, Torchinator. I'm also going to get the doll while we're here. I believe that's the dolly that Goomba said she lost. She'll no doubt be overjoyed if you give it back to her. So many people lose things all over the place, you know. Almost makes one feel like looking around everywhere. Well, we found the hammer, so I guess it's time for our first real battle tutorial. By which I mean it's actually our second of 3. No, that's wrong. 4 battle tutorials. Then there's this guy.
Who are you guys? This is my playground, idiots. Nobody sets foot in here without my permission. Nobody! Prepare to start crying at the feet of Master Junior Trooper!
So this is Junior Trooper. They can't all be winners. He's the boss of the local gang. Bit of a bully, obviously. He's more bark than bite. You can beat him easily. Just boost yourself up, don't take any lip. I'll stay right here and watch your progress. Okay. And pretty similar to the Bowser fight, this is one step away from just being a cutscene. Just gonna mash A for a second. Just getting warmed up. Just like Random is just getting warmed up. And he's dead. Notice no actual tutorialization has really happened, other than this. So the first tutorial taught us nothing other than just how to hit the enter button, A. This tells us what star points are, aka experience. We'll talk about experience later. This game has a very unique experience curve.
I mean it, I'll be back!
I know you mean it. Fortunately, Random won't be back. Whew. Could you imagine? Ah. Thank you, Random, as always. And give me a second to jot those down. in stars and time. Not yet, Blade Taval. Mother 3 and Xenoblade 3. Done. Listen, Sticker Star just penalizes you for engaging in combat. No, seriously. Universally penalizes you. You're literally better off not fighting anything in Sticker Star. Grab that. These are free heal spots. The Fire Flower, we'll be using that in a few combats here. Heads up, Mario. I see bad Goombas ahead. They're loyal to Bowser. They see you, they'll attack you without hesitation. If you can successfully get it... So this is our tutorial to what a first strike is. I actually do like the concept of first strikes, and always have. It's really simple. If you hit them first, you get a bonus attack at the beginning of the round. It is not Lunar Earth. It can be in some specific cases, but a huge amount of combat is completely skippable in Sticker Star. Well, over here, I suppose I'll explain why Sticker Star's combat is so terrible. Or rather, its power progression curve is so terrible. So it's like this. In Sticker Star, you have ammo. You spend ammo to attack enemies. You get nothing from fighting enemies. Any questions? That's admittedly a simplification, but it's still true. And I have no idea, Mr. Red. Yeah. As Kitten Fan points out, if you run from an enemy, it removes them from a map, just like as if you beat them. So if you hit the run button and succeed, then you have just swept the enemy encounter. Think about that for a second. Never worry, kids. I'm here. Thanks to Mario, I made it back all right. Oh, is that thing locked? Let me open that up for you. What's exp, Mr. Red? Goomba, where you been? I looked outside and wow, both you and the veranda were just plain gone. Goomba was very, very worried about you. Really worried. Sorry, kids. I apologize. I didn't mean to make you fret. You just take it easy now. I'm back. Safe and sound. Now, before I forget, I've decided to give you something, Mario. Just wait here a minute. Trivial thing, Eternus? I would cure migraines for everyone. Forever. That sounds trivial, right? Hey, that dolly you've got, that's the one Goombaria lost. She was looking all over for it. Would you give it back to her? Here you go. It's my dolly. Dolly, dolly, you're back. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy, my sweet dolly. Don't you ever get lost again. Here's a present from me. Star piece. And... Mwah. You always seem to beat up your enemies. Do you work out? I study self-defense by reading books by masters, and by listening to Dad and Goomba. I also exercise every day so I can be strong like you. It's starting to show, too. I'm getting big muscles. Yeah, Goombario's head is hard as a rock now. When he does his head bonk, it really, really hurts. Be quiet. You're embarrassing me. Of course, it is true. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Mario. It's okay, Goomba. We were just rapping with Mario. Rapping, huh? Sorry, I wanted to give you this to Mario. It's a really crappy badge, but it's our first badge. It's called a badge. Here's a tutorial for what badges are. Badges are equipment. That's just... No, I know. No! Oh my god. Oh, for Christ's sakes. That's true. Hammer throw is actually the most useless badge in the game. That's not a joke. Hammer throw is supposed to be a niche attack. it's useful for very specific enemies, except there's very few of those enemies in the game, which I suppose is inherent, but by the time you fight those enemies, you always have other options which are better for dealing with those enemies than hammer throw. Well, I heard from Goomba. You're taking it upon yourself to try and rescue Princess Peach from Bowser's clutches. Oh yeah, Mario can beat Bowser with one hand tied behind his back! Hush now, Goombario. Now, Mario, please take the hammer. It should serve you well. If I were a bit younger, I'd accompany you on my trip. I'd have done some damage. The years have started to weigh on me, though. I tell you, this lower back pain. Adventure, you're so lucky. Princess rescuing is so cool. I really want to be an adventurer, too, someday. Me, too. Oh, here's an idea. Goombario. Become his first companion. Because we actually have a party in this game. So, not all companions are made equal. Not all party members are equally good. That's true in any RPG, right? Whether it's Final Fantasy, or Chrono Trigger, or Final Fantasy 3, or Final Fantasy 8, or Final Fantasy 15. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Here's the thing. In Paper Mario in specific, the usefulness of companions varies pretty wildly. We'll talk more about Goombario in just a second, because I want this dialogue to go away. There we go. Oh yeah, we have a skip option, by the way. See? Just showing off that there is not really unskippable cutscenes in this game. So, let's talk companions. Let's talk Goombario specifically. I know a lot of people spit upon Goombario, and I get why, but he's, in my opinion, no, Linear, this is the second. In my opinion, he's one of the better ones, but you know why I say that. It's because he is your lore dumper, because he gets to do things like this. This. This is Goomba Village. My family lives here. There's also Toad House, which, as you probably know, is a good place to take a rest. The big tree near my house is a good place to get Goom Nuts. Oh yeah, we need to grab a few of those. Just one should do for now. Yeah, so the Tattle ability gives you a little bit of lore for wherever you are, and you can use it in combat to get a little bit of data on the enemies you're fighting. He's fine for damage. He's probably about average, I'd say, in terms of gameplay usefulness. He has a jump ability, so he's limited to enemies that can be jumped on. We'll talk about enemy vulnerabilities later. Think Doom Eternal, but better in every way. And he can be upgraded, and because of the nature of how this game calculates damage, the ability to essentially do a double jump makes him a pretty good damage dealer for enemies that he can do that with. So he's very useful in some situations, but in other situations he's just going to be completely outperformed by characters like Watts or Sushi. Shared continuity between Mario games. Yes, but it depends. Kind of like the Zelda series. Not all Mario games connect to all other Mario games. For example, this game has nothing to do with Mario Galaxy, for a specific example. So now we have a blanket. Where was the blanket earlier? Watts is arguably the best companion in the game from a pure gameplay perspective. So she has a basic attack, which seems whatever, but it's piercing. And by the time you get her, you start to see enemies with more and more armor. And she just completely ignores that. She can also buff you, and you have lots of ways to take advantage of those buffs. She also does a specific type of attack, which, again, I'm getting too far down the rabbit hole here. But long and the short of it is, there's very, 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 very few enemies in the game she cannot attack. So that's the simple answer there. And just to be safe... There we go. Problem solved. I have a feeling your road will be lined with difficulty, so try not to overdo it. Be watchful, stay cool. Calm mind is the wisest. Oh, hang on. I noticed you're wearing that badge. You know that badge, won't you? God, shut up about the badge! Hey, look. Beware of Goombas. Wah! 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 Run! Now, I'm avoiding encounters for a reason, don't worry. We won't be doing that the whole game. Early on, it's better off to skip them for reasons we'll get into. Fortunately, I missed that one. Yep, hey, yep, huh, yep, okay. Speaking of which, I want you to tattle. That's not tattling. That's the opposite of tattling. Cool. This is more or less exactly why I was trying to avoid this. Yeah, notice how much damage even 2 Goombas can do to me, because I don't have timed hits. We'll talk about the power progression curve and difficulty curve later, but I suppose now is as good as a time as any to talk about injured party members. Tattle, please. This is a spiked Goomba. Spiked Goombas are Goombas with spikes on their heads. Here's their stats. Whatever you do, don't jump on the spikes so you get hurt or even paralyzed. So, party members have no HP in this game. So what the game does is it calculates how much damage they took, and then it knocks them out of the fight for that many rounds. That sucks exactly as much as it sounds. This is a Goomba. Goombas are what you'd call small fries. Actually, they're pretty much the smallest fries. Hey, wait, I'm one of them! These guys are old school. They've been around since you were in Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, no thanks. The good news is there's only 6 enemies in the entire game that actually can damage your party members. However, obviously your party members can be damaged, you know, if they do something like what I just did on accident. Just gonna... Oh my god, it does not like this at all. Yeah, no, it's weird, Kitten Fan. No, Lunarith. Not until the second game. I don't like the injured system, to be quite honest with you. There's worse systems, but it's definitely the kind of thing that's not going to be a positive. It's just a frustration angle you have to deal with on top of everything else. Let's talk enemy weaknesses. So, you already saw it right there. There was a spiked Goomba and a regular Goomba. The way I like to think of it is each enemy has... think of it like a square, right? Top, left, right, bottom. Any given enemy can be attacked from certain angles of that square, depending on the type of attack you're doing. A jump obviously attacks the top square. A hammer attacks the left square. We get far more complex attacks later, which attack the bottom square or just in general, right? Some attacks pierce, some attacks bypass things, some attacks specifically target a thing. But either way, all attacks have a specific part of the enemy, a vehicle, or a vector, if you will, of how they attack the enemy. The overwhelming majority of the combat and enemy design and boss design in this entire game is centered around this system of how you attack and how they can be attacked. You can't jump on a Goomba that has a spike on its head because it has a spike on its head. And that's really, really simple. And I do like this. I like how they tutorialize that so simply because anybody could look at the spiked Goomba and say, well, I better not jump on that. The thing is, That's there to get you used to the idea. There are far more complex combinations of these kind of weak points and vuln points and attack styles the further into the game we get. Just like games like, say, Super Mario World or Mario Galaxy, I guess would be another good example of this. They introduce a concept at a very, very, very basic level and then slowly escalate it throughout the course of the game. This is also why some party members are just more useful than others. Bombette is one of the characters who is almost completely useless. And I hate to say that, but her basic attack is it's a nudge in front, but it's a target, it's a tackle nudge, which means if the enemy has any kind of forward defense, she gets hit before she even does it. Her FP attacks are fine, but way too expensive for what they do, and there's other better usages for them, which you get almost immediately after her. So she's probably one of the worst of the companions, if not arguably the worst. By contrast, someone like Parakarry, who at least has a targeting attack, can bypass some of that stuff, but you get the idea. Anyways, I'm getting way into the weeds. I apologize. Moving on. Hey, hold it right there. Yeah, you, suspicious guy. Don't move. Ah, you're Mario. I knew it. You can't go back past here, Mr. Big Shot. Direct order from the Goomba King. That's right. Sorry, the only way by us is through the Goomba Bros. That's me, Red Goomba, and my brother, Blue Goomba. Let's get him, Blue Goomba. Oh yeah, let's do it, my red brother. Super Boss of Death. You may or may not have noticed that combat also kind of sucks so far. Don't worry, we'll get to that later. This is Blue Goomba. He's the younger of the two notorious Goomba brothers. 6 HP, 1 attack power. As you heard in his little speech, he's one of the Goomba King's men. He doesn't look that healthy. He's weaker than his brother. Oh yeah, and once you've tattled or have a certain badge equipped, their health bars show up forevermore from that point onwards. You actually have already seen that, technically, but like if I encounter a regular Goomba or a spiked Goomba for the rest of the game, I will always be able to see their HP. Now, we need to talk about something review style. Talk about this just a second. This is Red Goomba. He's the older of the two notorious Goomba brothers. The Goomba King ordered him to try and stop you. You can take this guy no problem. He's just a little more HP than an ordinary Goomba. It does. The thing I don't know if it deserves a negative or not is you effectively have to use up a turn in order to tattle on someone to see what they're doing, right? And if you don't understand how significant that is, action economy is extremely important in this game. You'll notice we have 2 actions per round. Total. We do something, and Goombario does something. In fact, swarm groups in this game, of which there's only a very, very small number of them, ironically, can be very deadly by sheer virtue of the fact that there are so many of them. So we're going to be dangerous because we know that he can only hit us for 1. So we will survive the upcoming attack. Red Goomba, my brother. No, you meanie Mario. Yes, Alex. So we're actually going to go and pop a mushroom. There's other things we could do here, but no, we're going to pop a mushroom. We're not going to be ridiculous. It will now take us 2 turns to beat him. Like, everything is kind of reliable here. There's very, very, very little RNG in this game. Almost none, actually. He does 1 damage. We have 0 armor, so we take 1 damage. That's it. Oh yeah, let's talk about experience really quickly. I'll let you go for now. Bye. Run. So, when you gain 100 experience, you level up. Period. Now, this is an odd system, and it works, but I kind of think it works a little bit better in the upcoming game, my opinion. Here's the deal. Every subsequent level... let me equip this while we're here. Oh, I should also equip this. Every subsequent level... Okay, so every enemy in the game has a level value attached to them, okay? That means if you are under that level, you gain more experience than their average. When you're at their level, you gain the amount of experience they are attached to, so they also have an experience value. And then when you're over-leveled, they give you less experience. At a certain point, you will over-level the enemies to the point where they give you 0 experience. Make sense? So you can quickly out-level anything. You cannot grind Goombas in order to hit level 30. Or 32, or whatever. I forget the level cap. It's very short in this game. Very low. That also means that the game is constantly kind of trying to push you forwards in order to make sure you're always fighting slightly higher level enemies, to make sure you're always gaining experience. It is 30, I was right. And just to make sure we're covering our tracks here. Oh, hey, another mushroom. Oh, no, it's a trap. So there's our first dungeon. King Goomba, let us help us. Mario beat us up. Alright, real quick, what do you think King Goomba looks like in your head? Okay? Do you have your mental image? You have your mental image? There he is! Yeah, I don't know what's going on with his, like, 2 sides mustache. So, Mario, it's true. You've made it this far. I respect you for that. Fortunately, this is as far as you'll ever get. Because I, the great and powerful King Goomba, will see to it you advance no farther. Hear that, Mario? No farther, not one step. You scared, little man? Yeah, you scared, all right. You want to say you're sorry? Wow, King Goomba's really huge. I'm sure he's no match for you, though. Let's get him. Ready to meet my wrath, Mario? You better be. Beat him up, King Goomba. We got you back. Leave him to me. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll take down the Goomba Bros first, don't you think? It's been pretty weak since we just finished beating him up. This is still tutorial land, by the way. But that's okay, because I picked up a fire flower earlier. Goodbye. Yeah, it's okay. I found a gun. I'll go tattle him really quick. This is the Goomba King. He's really big. I mean, look at him. He looks really powerful. You can tell by the ridiculous music playing that isn't at all boss music. He's the boss of the Red Goomba and Blue Goomba. He cares if he's strong. You're much stronger. Nobody ate to become so big. I'd like to be a bit bigger, too. Anyways, he's dead. Notice we are just barely under the leveling curve, so we're actually getting a little bit more experience than we should. That's going to be true until pretty soon. I knew we could do it. Cool. Victory. Grab that really quick. Red Goomba, you're positive you hid the switch well, right? Of course, King Goomba. Hid it in the grass outside the fortress. Outside the... You idiot! You didn't hide it in here? Oh, do you think? You know, you might be right. King Goomba, maybe we ought to try to trick Mario before he tries to, you know... Mario, good fight and all that. I must warn you, however, if you happen to find a strange switch somewhere, you should definitely not press it. It's dangerous, understand? What? You already pressed it? Oh, the bridge! Now we can cross and continue our journey. Yeah, right! We're still not out of the intro, by the way. Or the goofy one, Blue Fusion Bolt. Ah, hoo, 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 hoo. Meanwhile...
Mighty King Bowser, I've been looking for you. Report, your evilness. Mario defeated the Goomba King. He's heading for Toad Town now.
What? Unbelievable. What was Goomba King thinking? I used the Star Rod to make him a king because he begged me. And Mario whips him so easily. What a whip. Ugh, Cammy. You are sure Mario can never defeat us, right?
Please, please, your vileness, try to be calm. Goomba King is small time. I had a feeling he'd fail. It doesn't matter, because while you hold the Star Rod, you're definitely invincible. You can beat Mario with one claw tied behind your back.
Yes, yes, very good. By the way, those spirits we captured don't have any way of giving Mario their power, do they?
Please, don't worry yourself. Each is held separately, and each is carefully guarded by your hand-picked subjects. Even Mario can't save all 7 of the Star Spirits. Even though we just did that in the game right before this one, but most people tend to forget that the 7th Star Spirit was actually in Smithy's chest, and he smithed it into himself. Most people don't even notice that. Anyways.
Who's the closest Star Spirit to Mario? Is that the one at the Koopa Bros Fortress, right? If Mario somehow reaches there, can the Koopa Bros defeat him?
King Bowser, you mustn't worry.
Look, I can't do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles voice, I'm sorry. Here come the Koopa Bros! Cowabunga! Kammy Koopa, are you sure these guys can get the job done? That Goomba King was gigantic. Even he couldn't beat Mario.
Pshaw! Get real, King Bowser. Yeah, the Goomba King was huge, but he was a total wimbola. We're nothing like him. See, what we've got going on is the power of teamwork. And we got rid of Leonardo. Excellent. That's the spirit. Sell it, Koopa Bros. Show our king that special attack you do so well.
Yes, ma'am. All right, ready? Get the camera off screen so we don't spoil it for the viewers. There we go. Whoa, that's... Whoa.
How'd you like it, King Bowser? How was it?
Oh, yeah, excellent. Really, I'm not that easily impressed either. Mario won't have a chance if you finish him with that attack. We'll take him, King Bowser. By the way, my Koopa brothers, about the captured Star Spirit I've locked up in your fortress. Who's guarding him right now?
Nobody, sir. Because, we're here, and so...
You idiots! Use your heads. Get back to the fortress. Guard that Star Spirit.
That's what you get when Raphael's your leader.
Okay, so an extremely brief tutorial dungeon level here. You can call it that. Pretty much just the previous area, but sequenced again. Sleepy Sheep, which we'll probably never use. Do this. Grab a badge really quick. Oh, second worst? Most worst? It's the first or second worst badge in the game, so we've got to get it. It's tradition. Mario! I'm so glad you're okay. Town's in an uproar. Princess kidnapped. Fairy castle uprooted. It's bedlam! I really don't know what we can do about all this. Please, Mario, save her highness. Me too, Legible. Okay, I want to do something really quick, but first let's go visit our brother, shall we?
I'm Luigi. I wonder what my brother Mario is doing right now. Mario, it's you. Oh, it's good to see you. Bibbidi bobbidi babbidi boobidi. And you're right. After all that castle craziness, I was really worried about you. I ran outside just as the earthquake started, so I managed to escape in time.
Poor Luigi.
Oh, and who are you?
I'm Gubario. Nice to meet you.
I see. Great. Just great. You're on an exciting adventure with Mario. Talk about unfair. See, someone has to look after the house, so I can't leave. Oh, well, take care of Mario, okay?
It's okay, Luigi. Literally less than a year after this game came out, you finally got your own game. In fact, this game references that game, and that game references this game, although they are such vague references that most people never even noticed they existed. I myself only found out that Luigi's Mansion references Paper Mario today.
Yep. There it went.
Finally lost connection?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Right here.
That's so if you go one step back. Anything? Yep. Yep. Anything? Yep. Ah!
There it is.
Hey!
Okay. So, I can't go to the basement.
Okay. Perfect.
No
What-
basement.
What's up,
But I
sis?
get really damn close.
What's up, sis?
I made it.
Oh my god. What was I saying? So we're not actually done with the intro yet. We really want to finish the intro. It's actually not dinner time, apparently. She's just screwing around with her wireless headset. There's a lot of people to talk to. We'll get back to them. We'll get back to them. Don't worry. There's something that's more important. Yeah, we're still not out of the intro, by the way. I know I keep saying that, but it keeps being true. Like I said, it's one of the biggest complaints about the game, and I'll explain why once you see what finally ends the intro. Kitten fans already referenced it, but I'll point it out when we get there. Welcome, Mario. Here's the plot exposition. We're the 7 Star Spirits. Our job is to grant wishes to good people and blah, 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 blah. The other day, Bowser invaded Star Haven, stole the prized treasure. It can grant wishes. He's been making wishes like, I want to transmog Mario, or I want Princess Peach to like me. Star Spirits ignore such selfish wishes. No comment. As a result, his wishes were never granted. Bowser, that fiend, when he found out we were ignoring his wishes, came and stole the Star Rod so he could grant his own wishes. He seems content right now, mainly because he defeated and captured the princess. Soon, though, I fear he will wish for more, and then terrible things will happen. It is the responsibility of the 7 Star Spirits to keep the Star Rod safe and use it properly. We must get the Star Rod back from Bowser and return it to its rightful place. In order to do that, we need your help. Sadly, right now you are not strong enough to challenge Bowser. He has made himself all-powerful by making wishes with the Star Rod. He is terrible to behold. Once we 7 Star Spirits are reunited in Star Haven, we can give you the power to fight Bowser with his newfound strength. With our help, you can prevail. Mario, Alas, we are nearly exhausted our power just to talk to you. Although it looks like we're there beside you, it's only an illusion. Really? We're using all our strength to communicate over great distances, but our strength is fading. We've been caught and are held in different places. Yeah, 7 dungeons, 7 worlds, 7 bosses. I got this. It's okay. It's the second line on my frickin' business card. Meanwhile... You're probably wondering where the term Princess Peach section comes from. Mario's probably hurt. Everyone's in prison. Mushroom Kingdom will be destroyed if things continue the way they're going. Something must be done. If only somebody could help me. My dear Princess Peach, how are you doing this fine day?
It's no use waiting for Mario this time, my dear. We're so high up in the sky, even Mario doesn't have a chance of reaching us up here.
You know, Princess, as long as I have the Star Rod, no one in the Mushroom Kingdom can touch me. You know the power that grants everyone's wishes? It's mine. Isn't that just wonderful?
Imagine what it's like down in your kingdom. Your subjects must be so upset because their wishes aren't being granted. Oh, how delightful. They deserve it for the way they've treated us Koopas over the years. Ignore the fact that there's an entire village of peaceful and friendly Koopas, and dozens of different Koopas who have perfectly normal lives, not part of the Bowser Kingdom. They don't count. Those are traitors to the cause.
If you want anything, all you need to do is ask me. I can grant wishes. Of course, I'll only grant requests that I like. Anyway, think about it. You take care. Enjoy your stay.
You watch yourself, Princess. You'd better not cause trouble.
Please, if only somebody could help me. Hello, Twink. He is so cute. Hello, Princess Peach. Pleased to meet you. My name is Twink. But you're a Star Kid, aren't you? How'd you get here? I came from Starhaven to grant your wish. It's our job to grant wishes, you know. Oh, you came because I wished that somebody could help me? Yeah, of course. Oh, that's just great. Thank you so much for coming. Here's my wish. Go take the Star Rod back from Bowser. Think you can do it? Sorry. That's a little much for a novice star like me. Maybe one of the honorable star spirits could grant my wish like that? Probably not, actually. I'm so sorry. Could you ask for something easy? Something a small star can do? Can you take me away from here? Everyone in my castle's been captured. I have to save them as soon as possible. Peach, you can float. Just jump, just jump. Sorry, I'm afraid I can't grant that wish either. Actually, I just called up to the sky a day ago, so I can't do big wishes yet. If I were a more splendid star, maybe I could actually help. It's alright. Don't be sad, Twink. Mario will definitely do something to save us all. He's probably coming right now. Oh! Twink, do you think you can find Mario? I want you to give this to him. Look at his expression. Look at his expression! This is a lucky star, isn't it? It's a core gameplay feature is what it is. Wait, Twink, can you also please tell Mario that I need sex? I'm fine, and he shouldn't worry. Okay, can you tell him that? Of course. I'll tell him your exact words, except that middle part. I didn't know. Don't despair. I'll be back as soon as I can, so stay safe, okay? Mario, where are you? All right, now, we're about to finally end the intro. This is it. This is it. We're almost there. Inches, inches. Oh, sorry. So sorry. I'm in a huge hurry. God, he's so cute. You're Mario, aren't you? Thank the stars I found you. Calm down, Twink. Calm down. How do you do? I'm Twink. Princess Peach asked me to bring something to you. Yes, here it is. This is it. Take it. You got the core combat. That's the lucky star. It unlocks the core combat of the game. I do not need an explanation. I do not need an explanation. Thank you. Once you understand how to use the action command properly, you'll be even more powerful. Terrific. You'll be much tougher in battle now. Here you are. What? It can't be. Were you following me? What a foolish star kid. I knew that if I followed you, I'd find Mario. If I defeat Mario right now, I'll be famous. I'll tell Kamikuma. She'll shower me with praise. She'll even give me a raise. Here I come! So, okay. You notice we can't even hammer. I actually kind of like this. The game doesn't let you use an attack you cannot use. It does let you do an attack that you will be punished for using, because it wants you to pay attention. But if you physically cannot hit something with an attack, it won't let you waste your turn. I like that. It's not completely holding your hand, but it's also not completely throwing you to the wolves. It's a nice in-between kind of a thing. So, whoops. Alright, timing is apparently off. That sucks. Yep, nope, timing definitely off. I'm gonna have to get used to that. Ooh. Order, he's dead. Goodbye! Well done, Mario. You're as strong as they say. No, that sucked, actually. I'm gonna return to Princess Peach's side. I'm not strong enough to really help her, but at least I'll tell her you're okay. See you later! Oh, right. I almost forgot to tell you the message from Princess Peach. I'm alright, don't worry about me, and something in the middle I didn't quite catch. Anyway, I'll do my best to help both of you. Please be brave. You must save Princess Peach. Bye. There he goes. Back to Bowser's castle. What a brave little guy. Okay, let's get down to business. And we're out of the intro. God dang. We did it. We made it. Oh, that was exhausting. Okay. So. Let's part and parcel a little bit, shall we? First of all, I do actually like this intro quite a bit. On the narrative axis. It does a lot right, and it does it very efficiently, as a lot of core Nintendo games tend to do. Yeah, P.S. Cake's getting cold. It introduces us to world-building concepts, something that's... Well, I don't want to be negative, but Super Mario RPG didn't actually have a lot of world building per se, but Paper Mario and Paper Mario 2 start implying a greater world around the events of the game, and we get little tiny tidbits of culture and history and stuff like that. So I'm with it on a lot of axes, a lot of aspects of the story axes. He's down here. I do like how it establishes the threat, the plot. I like how Bowser wins right out the gate, and then the whole game is about catching up to that point. It works. It works in many ways, and it works because you notice we've already met how many distinct and disparate people. Most of these characters haven't had much more than a cameo, yet they still bothered to have a little bit of different tonality between the Goomba grandmother and the Goomba sister, and the random guy from Shivertown, and the little star kid, and the Magic Koopa who followed us, and Bowser, and the Koopa brothers, and you get it, right? There's a huge variety to the cast. Sorry, jotting down some thoughts here. It also... I'm not going to give it a positive for this, but one thing I do feel works in the intro is it establishes our stakes in a way that makes sense. Our basic plot is go get the MacGuffins, the 7 MacGuffins, so we can beat the last boss. But it actually makes a degree of sense. What we actually need is we need to go get the people who are themselves part of the whole star bureaucracy, for lack of a better way to put that, and use all of them combined to effectively stonewall the other aspect of the bureaucracy, which is the rod. We get them to knock out it, and that just leaves us and Bowser, which is the goal, and then we'll just beat Bowser. It's not the greatest plot ever, and I'm not trying to oversell it, but I do like how there is at least a degree of logic to it, just like in Super Mario RPG. I already mentioned the Goombario thing. I should jot that down. I do think Tattle deserves a gameplay negative. I've been chewing on that this whole time. The game, especially if you don't know what you're doing, straight up penalizes you for tattling. And you want to, in addition to the fact that it's helpful to see the HP of the enemies, which is duh. It's lore, it's flavor lore, it's things that flesh out the setting. And the fact that you have to burn a turn doing it is just irritating. I tend to do it on most playthroughs, but that's because I like to, and I happen to know this game pretty well. It's really frustrating, especially if you're not good at timed hits, and if you don't know the good combos, if you don't know which party members to use, and you don't know which badges to use, it's very easy to fall behind just because you wanted to hear a little bit of story flavor of why exactly that particular boo is here, right? I already kind of need this song to pause. There we go. What would I put that under? We'll put that under core mechanic. And then we have to talk about the intro gameplay-wise. Gameplay-wise, this intro kind of sucks, if we're just being honest with ourselves. I agree with what Kitten Fan said earlier. It would be fine. Like, I kept joking about how we're not out of the intro, but the real problem is that it's several intros packed into each other, but the only one that actually counts is the last one. We keep getting tutorialized about how combat works. And really think about the layout here. Let's zoom out the camera for a second and look at the construction. So we have the first battle with Bowser. That's a cutscene. So that's not actually about a battle at all. At absolute most, all that does is teach us how to do the inputs at all. Even that, I don't actually give that. So we've got that. Immediately after that, we go down, and we have our first thing where town section, talk to some people, fall off the veranda, go in the area, and we fight Junior Troopa for the first time. He's, again, essentially a cutscene battle. As long as we attack him every round, we win. There's no tactics, there's no anything. So mechanically, it's the exact same as the Bowser fight. Nothing has changed. It looks like it's not like the Bowser fight, but it is. Okay, so we move past that. Then we get something that looks a whole lot like an actual tutorial section. A very brief section of platforming with little optional things. You can get some optional coins. You can get a star shard over here. You can get the fire flower up here. You can get the dolly back here, which also gets you a badge later. Or whatever the hell it got you. I actually forget what. And it's got random enemies where it tells you about first attacks. So you can get your first strike in and you can battle them. But you don't have the action command. And so you can level up here, but it's extremely draining on your resources, and it takes longer than it should. And the combat here is extremely boring, because the action command is the combat. The entire game is designed around the action command, just like it is in all of the Mario RPGs. For those of you who don't know what that is, really quickly. The action command is the QTEs you do during combat. The very basic idea is you hit A to jump, and then when you're about to land on the enemy, you hit jump again, to get a second attack in. When you're doing the hammer, you hold back in order to do more damage with the hammer. There's a lot of these, but that's your very, very, very basic fundamentals. It is the combat, right? There's actual input to the combat, and it rewards skill. It also can be done for defensive. If you successfully block when an enemy's coming in, it means you take no damage. Because, if you've been paying attention, the damage curve in this game is extremely small. 1 damage is a substantial amount of damage when you have 10 health, or 5. Right? Yeah, no, this game actually has a rather extensive toolbox when we get to the end of it. And at the very beginning, all we have is nothing. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic. The point here being, I need to jot that. Here we go. Put this here. Yeah, no, the low damage numbers. We'll put this here. So let me explain really quick. Hang on. Let me finish. Let me finish my thoughts. So you have what seems like a tutorial section, but you still don't have the action commands. Then you have another brief town section. Then you go through and you do another seeming tutorial section. Remember, none of these are actually tutorial sections, other than here's what combat is. Then we have a mini boss. Then we have a second mini boss, pretty much right after it. None of them are particularly interesting, other than, hey, you can interact with the terrain, which is something they barely do anything with in the future. More cutscenes, Princess Peach section, go into town, go to the right, talk to them, get the thing, come back, fight the Magic Koopa, and there, finally, an hour and a half into the game, is our first actual tutorial fight. It's when you finally get the action command. Now, I skipped it because I know what I was doing, but there's a no really tutorial combat you can go through to teach you what the action command is, and then the actual action command tutorial is against the Magic Koopa we just fought. There's our first actual no really tutorial, which at this point is our seventh total. And that's the problem. In addition to the fact that it doesn't give us the action command until all of that, I think it just does way, way too much of spinning its wheels rather than just getting us into things. I should mention Paper Mario 2 does not make any of these mistakes. They definitely learned from this particular problem. Let's talk about why I think the low HP thing is awesome. Have you ever been playing an RPG and you hit someone for 3,432? And some part of you just like mentally blocked that out and you just like, all right, I hit for 3K or something like that? It's this trend that honestly goes all the way back to, I believe Final Fantasy III was the first game to really do this, although the Dragon Quests have dipped into this as well, where they started using more and more dice values. Instead of being like a dice roll of such and such, it's like you roll 3d8s times 5d6s kind of a thing, and then that's your damage value. And they just kept adding more and more stats to add to the formula. When you actually look at some of the damage formulas in, say, FF6, which is 1994, which is before this game, there's quite a few steps that go to come up with all of that. By contrast, here, you hit for 1. And once again, 1 damage is substantial when you have 5 health. That's 20% of your health in 1 strike. Now, obviously, this works really, really well for a lot of reasons. Just at a glance, you can tell that 1 damage is significant or isn't significant. But more importantly, you can tell that 2 damage or 3 damage is very significant. You can take out a boss right now in 3 hits if you hit like that. You can also do this with several other directions. For example, if you manage to do an absolutely insane hit like 15, holy crap, but hang on. All of a sudden, multi-attacks become more important. Remember how I mentioned Goombario has a double jump? So he hits for 1, but then he hits for another 1. So 2 damage seems relatively low, but if you buff him in any way, all of a sudden he's hitting 2 and then 2. So now he's hitting for 4. And you see how this suddenly becomes significant. And Goombario can, and this is true for Goombella in the second game as well, can suddenly be a substantial damage output depending on how you set it up. All of a sudden, options are on our plate and tactics are available depending on what we're fighting and how we want to build. Build gameplay is definitely going to be in this game, by the way. Not as much as the next one, but it's definitely there. I need to jot down some thoughts here really quick. I just realized. Let's put that under here, actually. But the other value of having this is it means any buffs or debuffs are suddenly substantial, right? 1 defense is a huge increase to our survivability because all of a sudden, all those enemies hitting us for 1 are hitting us for 0. And 1 increase into damage is a huge increase in output, like I just demonstrated with Goombario. All of a sudden, 2 damage becomes 4, right? And there's several ways this is expressed throughout the course of the game, but I love that. I love how, I actually have a term for this, I call it staircase leveling, but I love how minor increases in our overall output are substantial because the numbers are kept so small. So it's quick, easy to understand at a glance. There's no RNG involved at all. There's no dice rolls in any damage. You do X damage. If you're hitting for 15, you have +2 attack and they have 3 armor, then you hit for 14, right? Boom, there's no dice involved. So it's easy to calculate at a glance. You can tell exactly what's going to go. It's almost deterministic, which also means you can map out several moves in advance as well if you bother to do so. And everything matters. This also means every level matters too. This is another reason why the leveling curve is so good in this game. Yeah, there's also some viscerality involved. Something you will not see too much, because I tend to lean towards more multi-strikes. But if you hit for more than, I think, 5, you start to see little stars pop around. Like 5 stars will pop out around the number, and then 6 stars, and then 7 stars. So if you do 15, there will be just this ring of stars around the attack. Boom, like that, right? Yeah, being able to do a 10 hit is bonkers. And of course, there's the power jump. We'll actually talk about power jump later, because there's a thing about that. We'll talk about that later. But the Alex does have a valid point. So you more or less have to engage in the action combat system. You have to hit buttons to attack, and you have to hit buttons to defense. Otherwise, you're just going to fall behind. The amount of damage output you do and the amount of damage you take is just going to outpace you. There's not really much of an out-leveling the game kind of a thing. So the only other real option is very, very careful planning and or absolutely burying yourself in items and leaning on your inventory to push through some of the stuff. That is something that can be considered a negative, and that deserves to be mentioned. But here's the deal. There's a bit of a gradient in how relevant the action combat is in the franchise as a whole. I'm with you, Alex, when it comes to the later Mario and Luigi games. The Paper Marios are pretty low intensity with regards to what they demand from you for the action combat. In fact, I would say Paper Mario 2 probably hits the absolute sweet spot there, my opinion. But like, say, Mario and Luigi 4, have you seen some of the Luigi Nation attacks in that game? They require you to not just do like a button input, but an entire mini game for like 20 seconds in order to do a single attack. And trust me, you have to do those, because if you don't, you die. They absolutely mandate in the later Mario and Luigi games, it's actually like from 3 onwards, that you have to do all those little mini games, and they go way overboard with the action combat concept. Like some of the attacks, Sticker Star is not immune to this either, but again, going back to Dream Team, the final boss has several attacks which are just, I can't even describe it properly. Like, Bowser does this thing, and it's like bouncing this thing over. So you have to like move around on the map, making sure to get under it, and then to bounce it like this as it's moving around the screen. If you screw up, not only does he take damage, but you take damage, and then it vulns you, or kills your brother, or lowers your defense for the next attack, which then kills you, right? It is extraordinarily punishing if you screw up at all. And you have to do this every single attack and defense. Which is why I bring up here, where it's a little bit more down to earth. No, it's awful, Alex. When we finally get to the Mario and Luigi block, I think those games will score well. But some of those specific attacks and defenses are just going to get their own individual negatives, because they are insane. That's what I've heard, Desperado Joe. And seen, because I've been following that project for a while. Okay, so with all that out of the way, I apologize for... I know this game pretty well. Back when the only console I had hooked up was the N64, there were only 3 games I would replay regularly, and this was one of them. So I replayed this a lot back in my college years. Sorry. Okay, so Mario. Merlon wants you to talk to him. Yeah, okay. I'll talk to him about it. Yep. So we're going to explore the town a little bit. Yes, Ocarina is the second one. If you can't guess the third one, then I'm disappointed in you. Is that blue hole in front of the post office? That's a road sign. Huh. I knew that too, Desperado Joe, but thank you. Yes, Quest 64. Greetings, the name's Parakarry. I deliver letters. No, you do not. Do not lie to me. Yes, hello, this is the post office. You can read letters for arrive for you or your party members. Well, you seem to have some mail. Goombaria, you were a lot stronger than you looked. We figured you were just some punk Goomba hanging around with Mario. Anyway, you proved yourself to us and showed that being good is as important as being strong, so when you come back, do you think we could be friends? Please say yes. We'll be waiting. Red and Blue Goomba Brothers. We'll keep the letters for you. Come by anytime you want to read more. Letters, that's another thing. But no, Blades of All got it in one. It's Star Fox. Star Fox, Ocarina, and Paper Mario. That was my life for, like, 2 years, I think. A little under 2 years, but still. Look at Minty, always with the flower. She's as pretty as a rose. Water and dirt, sunshine, power, beautiful blooms, beautiful flowers. Hello, my name's Minty. Please enjoy the beauty of this flower garden. I've heard there's a lovely flower we don't have. Supposedly bulbs have only known seeds. This is what a bulb looks like. Find them in the world. Okay. So yes, there's not a lot of Yoshi drums in this game, but there is a Yoshi drums in the central town. I'm going to shut up for a second so you can hear these. I don't think this is one. Damn it. Can't remember where all of them are. I think this is one. Did you see the video I linked you of the N64 Metroid, Ross? Yeah, that's our arena dojo. We'll do a couple of the fights there. We are not committing to doing all of them. And the way is blocked, so we can't actually follow them. Nah. So, we've got a woman who wants some bulbs. We've got a post office, which has lore. We've got the item shop, which is an item shop. Hey, what's up? Good to meet you, bud. Ralph's the name. I'm starting up a little business in Toad Town. Still setting up, though. Want to see you back in here when we're open, alright? Hey, mister. You're a customer, aren't you? Dad's preparing to open the shop soon, so I guess you gotta wait a little while. We'll come back to that. That'll be where we spend most of our money. Frantic Fuzzies conquer Koopa Village. Recently, it seems the Fuzzies have been invaded Koopa Village and are causing mayhem. Please exercise extreme caution when visiting the Koopa Village. Did you hear the gossip about Princess Peach? I can't write it down here because it's unbelievable. I hear... she has implants! Okay, believe it or not, that's actually a reference, and I hope you don't get what it's a reference to. Master came back from his training. Before he left, he said he wouldn't return until he was incredibly strong. He must be pretty tough by now. Oh? Did you believe it? The degree, Mario, the degree shows how strong you are. I have it. I fought at the dojo over there from the master. I am one bad toad. Hey, have you heard? Some toads I've never seen before are blocking the road. They're keeping Mario from going on his adventure. What? Really? Why are they bothering Mario? Are they nuts? There's something weird going on here. I know it. What do you mean by weird? I, Felicity, don't understand what's going on. Her name is Felissa. Felissa Toad. Oh no, danger! Strange toads are about in front of the Toad House. They don't look trustworthy. Beware, people. Beware! That choke is no joke. The road in front of Toad House connects to a scenic, pleasant path, but I hear there are weird toads blocking the way. Who could they be? Oh, salutations. You're Mario, are you not? Of course I know you are. I am Rusty. Pleasure meeting you. As you can probably tell, I love books and read all the time. Because I'm so well read, I know all sorts of interesting facts. Yeah, so most of the secrets in the game, you talk to him to unlock. So it is told that far away at the very top of the sky there exists a star haven where stars make their home. In Star Haven there's a treasure called a star rod. It was made with ancient magic. They're said to be stars that are particularly strong and good-hearted. They are called star spirits. Using the magical rod, they grant the wishes of everyone in this world. That's why when we make a wish to the night sky, it comes true. It's all thanks to the star spirits and their star rod. Yeah, he's got a couple of things. We'll come back to him. Oh, busy. My sweetheart might have some time off from work, but I never have a day off. It's a lot of work. Look at my poor dear. I know he's sad that the castle's gone, but grieving forever won't do anything. You should try to find something that brings him joy. If you could, please bring him something. Toad Town without a castle doesn't seem right. Less castle-filled, somehow. Do you think it'll ever be like the old days around here? No. When the castle was still here, I used to climb the trees and look off in the distance. Those trees all fell down. Now there's nothing to do. Princess Peach was kidnapped, so I'm gonna save her. But Mom told me I had to be a good boy and stay home. How come? Also, we will not get that shard for like 3 levels. I just want you to know. It's gonna sit there taunting us for a while. Castle was taken away and Princess Peach was kidnapped. Those are dark days. Everyone in town is suffering. My heart cares for nothing but you, my sweet. Does that make me wicked? My heart is the same, my love. It cares for you, none other. We are both wicked toads. So if you talk to these toads blocking the way, I don't know, there's something vaguely familiar about them. I can't quite put my finger on it. You don't want to go out there. It's way too dangerous. Going to Koopa Bros Fortress would be a huge mistake. Definitely don't go. Most of all, though, you shouldn't go ask Old Man Merlon for help. That'd be really bad news for us. I mean, for you. Don't even think about it. Now, okay. Let's talk about guidance, shall we? Listen, Alex, it's fine. It's fine. There's still a stench. Anyways, Sorry, jotting down some thoughts here. Guidance is something that can be done great, okay, badly, or terribly when it comes to game design. But RPGs in particular, RPGs have used a lot of techniques over the years to come up with different ways to try and guide a player towards where they can or should go. This is arguably too much, but at the same time, I actually appreciate this more than the alternative. Very little irritates me as much as just talk to everyone in town. One of them will eventually be the right person to talk to. I just made fun of that when we were doing the Yume Nikki run yesterday. The first one, not the original, not the remaster. Because a lot of older RPGs, especially on the late NES and early SNES, all had that problem of find the one NPC that's the one you're supposed to talk to, and that's the one that allows you to progress. This was still an issue in the PS1 era, for God's sakes. In this case, we go and we talk to these guys, and they're like, yeah, no, you should totally not go talk to Merlin. That'd be bad. So now we know to go talk to Merlin, right? Now, there's other ways to guide that, and this is extremely overt, but it's also worth noting it is also optional. We could just go straight to Merlin's place as a result of either knowing where to go or just navigating properly. Which brings me to how to do guidance badly, and that's why I wanted to argue that this is not a negative, because some people would say this is too handholdy, to which I disagree because I've seen handholdy RPGs. A handholdy RPG would grab the character by the neck, drag them over to the NPCs, and then be like, hey, talk to this person, or just force the cutscene. And then the cutscene happens, and then it shoves you out, and you're like, now, like I said, guidance is a gradient. I'm not sure this is positive worthy, but my argument is that it is not negative worthy. Merlon is out. Why you keep knocking? I'm telling you he's out. Ah! What the? Why is someone sleeping in front of my house? Wait a minute. That face seems very familiar to me. Yeah, that's the other thing. As Kitten Fan points out, the Koopa brothers... sorry, the Toad brothers talking like that and basically telling us where to go as a way to dissuade us from going there is very in character for them. Oh, maybe... No. Yes, it must be. You're Mario. I've been waiting for you. You should have come earlier. Well, you're here now. Come in. Where to begin? My name is Merlon. I'm a wizard. When I was reading the stars the other day, an oracle came to me. What I discovered is very important. It concerns you. But before I tell you about it, there are other things of which I must speak. It's a very long story, but I'll try to shorten it. Where should I start? It was in the old days. One of my ancestors was on Shooting Star Summit. Fun fact, that's true. We'll meet her later. And as usual, one day it happened. And suddenly, a great appeared, and I was standing to face, far away. It's pious, raised up. Amazing. Still very young then. I believed in it, but our hearts were... And... And that's all that matters. Huh? Hey, Mario, were you listening to me? Yeah, yes. Oh, alright. Anyways, that's why I'm able to help you. Cool. If you get lost during your adventure, you can come to me. I can predict the path you should take for a small price. Right now, your main goal should be to save Princess Peach as quickly as humanly possible, but according to my second sight, your path must first take you to the great fortress of the Koopa Bros. To reach the Koopa Bros fortress, head east on the road in front of the Toad House. Come again? Strange toads blocking the east side. That shouldn't be. That's ridiculous. Such a thing has never been heard of. Never! I'll get to the bottom of this. Follow me over there. I'll see what's going on. Oh, God. You're right, Kitten Fan. I don't remember which specific thing it was in Sticker Star, but there's something where it's like, it only tells you what item to use after you've used it. Or like, I'm trying to remember the specifics. It was on the squid battle. You have to use the sponge to get to a certain attack in the squid battle. And then when you get hit by that attack, that's when Kirsty tells you about the sponge. After you've already used it. And yeah, the vacuum. I didn't even think of it. But you're right. God, I hate that game. Alright, so. Are these the strange toads you were talking about? Hey, I told you can't pass. Take off. Hit the road. We don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, what gives? Ask anyone. We're just cute, ordinary toads hanging out. Reveal your true selves. Humph, just as I thought. You're the Koopa Bros. How'd you guess it was us? We were perfectly disguised. Shucks. Black, yellow, green. We retreat. For now. Mario, these imposters were none other than the Koopa Brothers. Yeah, I caught that. We must pursue them to their hideout, the Koopa Brothers Fortress. Did they name it? It used to be like Bob-Omb Fortress, so... Shouldn't we call it Bob-Omb Fortress? To get to the Koopa Bros Fortress, you'll need the help from a blue-shelled Koopa. It's a strange portent. In Goomba Village, you might find something that'll clear it up. I must return home now, boy. So I think, since dinner's probably going to start soon, we'll go ahead and actually pause right here. And continue more Paper Mario tomorrow.